Hello, hello. You are tuned in to the Katie Talk 101 show. Please, when you come in the building, make sure you hit that like button. Make sure you share if you care, and most definitely sub to the channel if you have not for everyday breaking news and celebrity talk. All right, so here we go. This situation came out about a few days ago. I did post it on my other channel, and I also hold on. Let me wait for somebody to come in. I'm trying to wait on somebody to come in. You guys come in, tap into the building. Okay, let's see. All right. Well, I got one going once. Okay, look like one came in the building, I think. Okay, so when you come in the building, please make sure you hit that like button. Please make sure you share if you care. And most definitely feel free to sub to the channel and all that good stuff. So tonight, well, today is actually going to be I usually don't have it too much on my channel, but I'm gonna have an open chat today because I want to hear a few people opinion on this situation. So Kevin Samuels, he had something to say. This was a few days ago. I know I may be late on this topic, but I'm gonna tell you this. I ended up posting this on my other channel, the Big T Outtakes, and it got just a few views. But another place where I also ended up posting it was over on TikTok. And let me tell you, those TikTokers were ticking because those TikTokers had a whole lot to say about this situation, okay? So I ended up posting it. I really didn't pay any attention to it on TikTok, but just now I ended up going over to my TikTok and I seen that a lot of people had a whole lot of things to say responding to the Kevin Samuels situation. So I'm gonna let you guys listen to what Kevin had to say, and then I'm just gonna go through and read some of the comments. But I think this video here has about 3,000 videos. When I It has 3,000 views. When I jumped on and looked at the TikTok video, initially it had like 1,000, and I got off for a few minutes and I went back to look at the comments, and it jumped all the way up to 3,000 and some. So a lot of people are commenting on this. The comments are still coming in now. You guys make sure you go over there and sub to me on TikTok, and yeah, show me some love on TikTok and everything. But my question is, and you guys know I keep it real over here at Katie Talk 101. My question is, are Hispanic women the real competition for Black women? So listen to what Kevin had to say. I'm going to read the comments and we're going to talk. And I want you guys to tap in and tell me what you guys think. Take a listen.
So, your biggest enemy is the Hispanic woman. She understands how to season food. She understands sensuality, femininity, and she was raised in a patriarchal environment. The difference between femininity and fake femininity is amazing. The Latino problem. Black women, you have a problem. Her name is Maria. Marisol. Love some brothers. And if you notice, they are the old, go to the old black side of town and you will see Hispanics. And the difference used to be the Hispanic men and the men, because a lot of sisters don't, a lot of women, black, whatever, is not as taboo as it used to be. And when you're talking about what you bring to the table, these women are bringing tables. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. A lot of women get upset when you ask, what do you bring to the table? And these women are bringing tables. Adios mio, papi. How are you? Yeah, your lead speak that shit. Yeah, they bringing tables.
All right, so you heard your boy Kevin say that the women are bringing tables. They're saying that the Hispanic women have more to bring to the table. I guess what they feel like Black women have to bring. But so you guys heard that. That's what Kevin had to say. Okay, so I'm gonna go over here to the TikTok comments where I posted it, and I'm gonna read off some of these comments because you guys know it's usually about what the people have to say. The people usually get under these comments and say how they feel. So take a listen to this one. All right. So this guy said, finally, y'all finally catching on. He said, get you a Latina before they're gone. Okay, so he telling everybody to get them a spicy Latina before they're all gone. So that was the first comment. And then someone else commented, he said he into something with this one, and he got 6 likes. And then somebody commented and said, "Bro ain't telling no lies." Shout out to the chat room. You guys make sure you hit that like and share button. Okay, so someone else said that they agreed with what Kevin Samuels had to say. Okay, so we got one guy here out of everyone that commented that said, "LOL, I love black women. So come get you a mixed baby with some wavy Puerto Rican style." Okay, okay. And I think I smiled when he said that. But Emily said, "I am a Hispanic Latina, I'm feminine, I'm sexual, and I cook, but I'm nobody's personal servant." Okay. She said that old way of thinking is outdated. He better match me. So she's saying she want a man. She is a Latina, and she wants a man who is gonna match her, who is going to cook. He gotta be with her. And then let's see, King said, "Yeah, that is kind of outdated. The new way is Cash App." That's funny. I make good money too. Bye, hater. Oh, that's what she said. And then somebody laughed. Okay, so somebody said he ain't lying. Somebody said, damn, he right. True that. Hispanic women know how to hold the family together. Those are facts. So yeah, they said in the comments that these are facts that Hispanic women know how to hold the house together. Okay, and then somebody said, ooh, ouch. He not lying. I've dated 3. Hold on, let me see what he said. Hold up, hold up. Let me go back. Okay. Me, a Hispanic man with a black girlfriend. So he said he's a Hispanic man and he said that he has a black girlfriend. Okay, the man not lying. I've dated 3 in my lifetime only. And the reason I didn't pressure them to go further because of the distance, but they were amazing. Okay. I've dated a Puerto Rican and a black woman. There is a difference, seriously. And that guy said real ish. Let me see what these comments say. Let's see them first. Not saying my experience with black women were bad, but I can definitely tell the difference in the culture towards the men. So it looks like some of them are saying that culturally the Latina women are raised differently. So they do actually treat their men differently from how black women treat their men. And I think it has something to do with the tight. They have a very loyal bond when it comes to family, and I just think that's something that it could always be learned, but
It look like you're
most
probably gonna take it straight.
most definitely I think it's just something you're raised with as far as when it comes to
What
how you're
something that your
taught.
biggest enemy is not a white woman. Your biggest problem is not not a white woman. Your biggest enemy is Marisol. Your biggest enemy is the Hispanic woman. She understands how to season food. She understands sensuality, femininity, and she was raised in a patriarchal environment. The difference between femininity and fake femininity is amazing. The Latino problem. Black women, you have a problem. Her name is Maria. Marisol. Love some brothers. And if you notice, they are the old go to the old black side of town and you will see Hispanics. And the difference used to be the Hispanic men and the men, because a lot of sisters don't, a lot of women, black, whatever, is not as taboo as it used to be. And when you're talking about what you bring to the table, these women are bringing tables. Oh, shit. Oh, my God. A lot of women get upset when you ask, what do you bring to the table? And these women are bringing tables. Adios mio, papi. How are you? Yeah, your lead speak that shit. Yeah, they bringing tables. I don't like hot food, but trust me, I will get over it. I'm going to learn how to eat. I'm going to start. You hear me playing bossa nova music? I already do salsa. What something that your biggest enemy is not a white woman. Your biggest problem is not not a white woman. Your biggest enemy is Marisol. Your biggest enemy is the Hispanic woman. She understands how to season food. She understands sensuality, femininity, and she was raised in a patriarchal environment. The difference between femininity and fake.
But I can tell you this much. In a sense, I can kind of see what he's saying. Looking at the way that black women were raised in their household compared to how Latina people are as far as the tight knit that they have with family. They're very cultural people and they believe in serving their men. But you got to think there are a lot of millennials coming up of all different races who have a different mindset from that too. So I think it's just all in how you were raised and how you were raised in your household and what was taught to you. If you were taught to be very submissive, if you were taught to have a lot of loyalty, holding up your family, if you were taught femininity, those things are taught. I mean, I just don't think a person can just wake up one day and be like, "Oh, I just want to cook for my man and I want to see my man happy." And most definitely you got to believe that even though these women are like that, they probably do that. And just being honest, you guys, you know I'm always honest. They probably do have more feminine qualities towards women, but you got to think their men treat them different from how our black men treat us as well. So it always comes from what's up with you, Cortez? Welcome to the chat room, Cortez. Welcome, welcome. So yeah, I just think it's all in how you were raised. And if you were not raised and you were never taught certain things, you're never gonna know it. Just like if there was a male who grew up without having a father in their home, and they never experienced that fatherly that just feel of having a father in the home and had a man directing him in certain ways and teaching him how to be a man. When he grows up and he end up having a child, I mean, of course he'll learn, but he's gonna have to just learn step by step because he was never taught. So it's a lot of things in our community that we were not taught and we don't know. And I think it has came to a point, especially I see in the manosphere, where some of these guys in the manosphere grew up in the same types of black households of the black women that they talk about. So they have to consider all of us grew up in the same messed up household. There's a lot of mentality that's probably stuck on a lot of those guys in the manosphere and a lot of things that in ways that they have and the way that they think, probably from them growing up in the same household that we are. But it's like, we get stumped on for probably having the same mentality that they do, but we're women. But most definitely a man should always be ahead of his household, and he should always be treated as such. A man should always be in the male position in the household. I remember talking about this in the show when the girl said she has nothing but vagina to offer, and it flashed me back to when Kevin said some of these women get mad when you ask them what do they bring to the table, and most Hispanic women are bringing the table. So just last week we had a girl on camera saying all she bring is vagina to the table. So I hope you guys click that link. I really wanted to hear some of you guys' opinion on this, but I'm gonna be completely honest and say this. The parts that he talked about, the qualities that Hispanic women have, being honest, a lot of the black women were not taught those qualities. You have to think that too. I remember a situation happened in my son's school, and there was this boy that ended up going to jail. Well, first he ended up getting beat up real bad, but he ended up going to jail because it was like a parties they had at high school. And the boy had a girl out in his car, and she was a Hispanic descent girl, and he was also Hispanic too. but he was trying to like violate her and do stuff that she didn't want to do, and she got out of the car running. And it was a pack of those guys that beat the holy daylights out of that boy. And I remember I was telling my sister about that situation that happened because my son told me. And she said, you know, if there was a black girl, wouldn't none had happened to them boy, that boy that did that. And I was like, yeah, they probably would have tell her, they probably would have ended up telling her that she wanted it and all that. But just looking at situations like that, you have a whole culture of people who do not play about their women. Looking at the Latina culture, you have a whole culture of people who actually value family. They don't look at just hooking up and sleeping with a woman and looking at a woman as I want you to just cook for me, give me sex when I want it. They have a whole culture of men who actually value them. And maybe black men, that may be why their women carry themselves in a little different way. And I know some men may say, Cortez said things may not be taught, but when you become an adult, there's no excuse. That's true. But you also got to think this too, Cortez. People are indoctrinated. Your parents indoctrinate you. I mean, even though you can be raised one way, when you grow up and you know better, you do better. But it's all about knowing better and doing better. And not just that, you have to want to do better. Some people actually know there's some things in some ways that they move. Yeah, some a lot of black women may not act film, they may not be ladylike because they were never even around a woman who even taught them how to be a lady. And I hear this all the time on these platforms. There's some women who were not taught how to properly comb their real hair. They had to grow up just like with me. I wasn't taught, and you right, Cortez. When you grow up, it's no excuse because if you want to learn it, you can. I had to adjust to actually I'm getting around to it just now and just made 40 on just how to get up and do my own hair, to do my real hair, to actually just learn stuff that try to go out and learn stuff myself that I was not taught growing up. And sometimes when you're trying to adjust to stuff that you didn't have into your adulthood, it could be difficult. But it's not impossible if you really, really want it. And looking at the aspect of yes, a lot of Latina women probably are more of what a man would consider wife material because you got to think family is so much value in their community. Amongst our community, family is not valued. So the women fall into place with what's going on in the atmosphere. I grew up with jacked up ways. I'm 32 now. I didn't come out until I was 22. Oh wow! So you didn't start transitioning and opening up your eyes to you was about 22. Yeah, it usually happened that way too. It usually happened that way. It's all a choice. You can't blame the parents. Yeah, you can't blame the parents, but it still goes back to what people were taught. You can't blame the parents, but when the parents never taught these women how to be wives, a lot of these girls were never taught how to properly deal with a man, how to treat a man. A lot of them were never taught that. Some of these, I mean, sometimes you got grown people that have to go to the internet for answers. A lot of them have to go and look at tutorials on how to do their real hair. But it's things out there where they can learn if they wanted to. I just think change can only come if you want to. If there has to be a shift made where the black family can be reformed back together, I would love to hear some answers, you know? I would really love to hear some answers, but most of the time when I hear the things said in the black manosphere, I always hear just go outside of your race and look for your happiness because there's no hope for these black women. Let's see, it still goes out the window when we are in America where we have options. It's always so many excuses of us growing up. Yep, it's a lot of excuses. It's a lot of excuses. Yes, it's a lot of options out here. It's a lot of options out here. And I really do think there could be hope, but it has to be enough people out there that's looking at stuff and feeling like it's wrong in order for it to be hope. But looking at the other side of it, and I'm going to be completely real, okay? I'm going to be completely real. So we hear a lot of the people in the manosphere speak on the things women don't do and how certain type of women will be a better fit for black men. But I look at some of these interracial relationships that they get in, and it's like the same type of dysfunction that goes on when they switch over and get the Latina. Whenever they get the non-black women, it's like they're still having these same ratchet things going on in a relationship when they even go out and get the Hispanic woman. So is it completely safe to say that black women are the big majority of the problem? I don't know. I can't say yes and I can't say no. Because I can say a lot of black women do hold a lot of fault in how things are going as far as the dynamic of the family and stuff like that. Let's see, I've been in other countries, they don't act like that at all. Uh-huh. Americanized people, yeah. Because you know what? I don't care what race they are. If you run across people who are Americanized, period, they have a certain dynamic mentality the way they think. So yeah, I think here in America, probably the worst condition is. I mean, you see a whole lot of other races of people doing ratchet things too. So it's almost like you can't put a color on everything. There's a whole ratchet culture. There's a whole ratchet culture that's being pushed amongst the people. Period. And I can't just say it's a certain group or caliber of women. I can't say. I think it's a culture. I just can't put a color on it. And he said, "Yes, ma'am, you are correct. Worse conditions. Yes, I really do think it's a whole culture, and I think it's something you guys are saying. This 2021. You guys saying that maybe the Latina woman would be a better pick. You know, and I'm gonna be honest because I be honest, okay, but I remember when I was listening to Minister Jeff. Shout out to Minister Jeff. I was listening to him the other day, and he was talking about he was saying are black women ready? He don't think black women ready for the competition that white women have to offer. And I remember comment under his comment section. I was like, well, I work in an environment where I'm the only black woman. It's a big amount of white women, and it's one Hispanic Latina. And shout out to her. She come by here. But what I ended up saying in the comment section is that if I was to look at any of those women there, as far as how to treat a man, as far as being a good wife, as far as having coof about herself, I would actually say it's the Latina young lady that I work with that is very feminine. She knows how to carry herself. She's a good wife, and yeah, but at the same time, I actually heard no, well, not heard. I actually seen someone. I seen this meme going around uh the internet a while ago, and it said this. It said if you whenever you have a baby by a black man, you're gonna end up a single mom. So a lot of people were commenting on it. It was like a viral meme or whatever. So I'm thinking like, is it like can black men ever look at themselves and feel like sometimes they'll take something good and turn it bad? Not saying that you guys turn all the women bad. I ain't saying that. But what I'm saying is this. When I went to a certain school down here in Arkansas, it was actually Paul Mitchell. When I went to that school, there was an abundant amount of very, very attractive white females. The ones who had like a little booty, the ones who had a little jazzy, little salt and pepper with them. Some of them were white women that were shaped like black women, but they looked like very classy white women. And let me tell you this, a lot of them, a big old majority of them had children by black men. And guess what? A very big amount of those white women who were very classy, had good jobs, seemed to be very feminine, all that good stuff that a man want. Those women were single mothers, a big amount of them, who had kids by black men. So looking at the fact that they we always get compared, and a lot of them are dating out, of course, and a lot of them are expanding their options, and everybody should expand their options. If you're dating or you're doing something that's not working out for you, you need to expand your options and see what else is out there to make you happy. But if you are going out into these other races and you're starting families, but you're not finishing them, and it's still a big amount of really decent non-black women that have had experiences and made families with these black men, and they still ended up single parents just like us. These were nice looking, decent white women who I was going to school with, and I mean, they were talking about their child support cases and whatnot. They were, or some of them that didn't have the guy on child support, they was talking about how he doesn't do anything. I mean, the same conversations that I hear amongst the black women. These white girls who had all these babies by the black guys were having the same conversations that I hear every day. And it's like when you get in another space, when you go over to the space where everybody's saying, where you hear these guys saying, this is the place where the black man probably need to explore his options. And then you listen to a room full of these women speak on their experiences of the black man. It just started, and I'm being honest and not trying to tear down no black man, because I would never do that, because I'm raising two black men. So I don't tear down nobody over here. But I'm gonna say this. Looking at that kind of made me think and go back to, could the black man be the problem? Not saying that the black women are not the problem, but everybody holds fault on why the black family is not together. I know people always say it's solely the woman's fault, but the man was in that space at one point in time. So there has to be some type of accountability for him to hold as well, especially when there's a big abundant amount of them going outside of their race and dating, and a lot of those relationships not working out either. Is there some point in time where they can ask themselves, could I be the problem? Hmm. I don't know. I don't know. Honestly, black men are tired of being put down, especially and personally. A lot of us have similar experiences. Government assistance did that. Yep, a government assistance is a big thing to blame it on too. You right about that. And even in a whole lot of other races and stuff like that. I mean, it's just some families have probably, got laid off, went through some financial things. Some of their women probably did have to go and get on financial assistance. I mean, I actually know some couples who are together, but some of them probably not married. I know married couples who still get full assistance, and I'm a single woman that can't get no assistance. So there's a lot of, even though those men are not supposed to be living there, I have seen a lot of people who have families and they're together and still get government assistance. Some of them are married and still on Section 8 and stuff like that. So it's not saying like a lot of the women are choosing the Section 8 and just kicking the man out and saying, I don't need you. It comes to these two people could not get together and work stuff out. So that's why it happened. Because I'm gonna be honest, I believe welfare was a big issue, because when these families were still together, when the welfare thing came, whenever the inspection come around, you gotta hide the guy clothes in the trunk of the car, and he gotta go over to one of his friends at his family house the whole day of the inspection, so they won't see any traces of him being there. And I just think some of those guys just got tired of stuff like that, and probably on top of the disagreements and the regular problems that relationships have, that put a damper on the relationships between the black man and the black woman, it's not always. Um, See, not always. Just yeah, yeah. Sometimes it just didn't work. Sometimes you just can't put it all on the government breaking them up. Cause I'm gonna be honest, Cortez. I seen free money and discounted rent. It sounds better than a relationship. Yeah, and that's the real sad part about it. I think that's a real sad part about it. It just sounds better than a relationship. They feel like, dang, I'm over here arguing with this dude. We ain't feel like we ain't getting ahead. These people offering me Section 8, telling me I can't have them here, and they just make it just easier to put the guy out and say forget about the relationship and throw the towel in when it could have been just the most simple surface stuff that probably could have been worked out. I just think us as black people, we just easily give up on each other, and we're quicker to prop other people up. And like I said, shout out to Minister Jeff. But I'm gonna say this. I remember listening to his video when he was speaking about the black women not being ready for the competition of other races. Yep, people are basically stealing resources. Thank you, Cortez. I'm gonna tell you this though. When I heard Minister Jeff say, don't get me wrong, this stuff been going on since the beginning of time. Maya Angelou, she married out of her race a couple of times. Whoopi Goldberg, Harriet Tubman, Eve from the Rough Riders, she married outside of her race, and Eve is the most soft and feminine woman you could probably ever meet right now. But we wind that all the way back to her days when she was running with Rough Riders, tattoos, riding on bikes, short blonde hair. Now you look at her with the man that she's with now, non-black man. She's more soft. She's living in her femininity, and you don't hear her saying she a pit bull in the skirt and all that. You don't hear her saying it now. But she's not with the black man. Why is it that, let's see, give up on each other so quickly? Yeah, we give up on each other real quick. The stuff that we can work out, the stuff that you guys leave one relationship and go to another one, it be stuff that you could have worked out with your mate, but you didn't feel like it was worth it. We don't feel like each other are worth working it out, so we'll very quickly prop up other people over our own people. And like Minister Jeff was saying when he named off Maya Angelou and Eve being married to a white man, and you got a lot of them that married outside their race, women and men. But looking at the fact that and I'm being honest, and like I said, I'm being honest, and I'm not tearing down anybody. I'm not tearing down no man over here. I'm not tearing down no woman over here. Nobody getting torn down. We speaking nothing but facts right now. Nothing but facts. But when you see some of these non-black women who date black men, it's like once they cross over and start dating black men, a lot of the time you see those women start acting more ratchet when they get with black men. So why do you think that is? Do you think it's because they feel like they have to act that way to keep that man around? I remember being 16 dating a guy who was 19, and he told me I don't argue enough. He told me I didn't have enough attitude. He was like, "Dang, it seems like you don't care about me. You don't be trying to argue with me. You don't a girl will walk by and say hi to me. You don't be asking me who is she." Like he was just feeling like I didn't have enough attitude, and I guess he wanted me to clown over him. I don't know. I don't know what it was. It was confusing to me though. But looking at that situation, and then looking at some of the women who start dating black men, some of the other races of women that start dating black men, it looked like they lose their value. And I'm not saying nothing is wrong with the black man, but I'm saying, why do you think that is? Why is it that some of these white women, Asian women, Hispanic women that date black men seem like they hold value in their whole how they carry themselves seems like it goes down a notch when they get with the black man. Why is that? That's what I want to know, because I'm constantly hearing out here in the manosphere that it's black women who broke up the household because of the welfare. It's black women who are too masculine. And I'm gonna be honest, some of them are too masculine. Back in the 60s, a lot of them did have to put their men out because they wanted welfare and they were probably struggling and this and that and the third. Not saying that none of those things happen, but what I'm saying is, why is it that when they go and date outside of their race, it seems like the other races of women that they're getting with, it don't seem like they're coming up too much either. Of course, you're gonna see a big lifestyle when it comes to a lot of the athletes and stuff like that. But I'm saying the regular old Joe walking around the neighborhood, who ended up dating outside of his race. Do you see that man coming up a few notches because he got with that woman? Or do you see that woman declining after she got with that man? I think that's the question right there. It's like I'm trying to do is just what I'm trying to do is open up some of these guys that have some of these opinions like this. I want to try to see if they can open up their eyes and at least try to think, is it something that I'm doing that's turning these women the way that they are? Is it that some of and it's crazy because when it comes to the levels and the energy that men and women have together and stuff like that, as far as the person that holds the more masculine side and the more femme side of the relationship, do I notice some of these women who get with the black man, it's like they have to have an aggressive point just to get some of these guys' attention. Like the guy who I was dating said, "You don't argue with me enough." He was feeling like, so I started feeling like, do I need to be more aggressive? A lot of women feel like that, like they have to be more aggressive and more assertive when they're with a black man versus being with a non-black man. It's like these women, like Latina women, the way that they men treat them, the way that they men protect them, they're in a position where they actually can be women. Have a lot of black women been put in a position where they can just be a woman and just serve the man and keep the household together? Were they ever properly given that opportunity to actually be in a position to be a woman? That depends on what type of man they have and what the tailor of the woman are. Yep, it just depends. It just depends. But all together, reading through the comments and then what Kevin had to say, I cannot actually completely say that black women are the complete problem of why. So basically, he was saying, just to sum it up, he basically saying it's not the women that you think is your competition or your enemy. It's this woman that's your enemy. No, how about just saying there's no enemy. Like the black women have no enemy. Hispanic women have no enemy. It's like we're all out here at least hoping to probably keep a family together if that's what they want to do. And then you have some people who say they want a family and really don't want a family. Some people will say they want one thing, but they do another when they get it. I see some of these guys that do go out here and they date outside and they get in those relationships and end up doing the same thing they did with the other woman, no matter whatever race she was. It's like whatever actions you continue to do, you're gonna continue to get the same results. It don't matter what color you're dating or whatever mentality you're still carrying, the results of the mentality that you have are gonna continue to happen. And I just think that's pretty much how it's summed up right there. But just actually feeling like another woman is my competition, I never felt that way because I just feel like whoever is for you is for you. Whoever not gonna be there for you, not gonna be there for you. But at the end of the day, I think it's all about loving yourself. I think it's about trying to assess yourself. At least try to look at yourself and see like, well, is there anything I can change if a relationship didn't work out? at least try to look at yourself in some kind of way and see, is there anything that I could have did to make that relationship better? Excluding anything else out of it. If this relationship didn't work out, is it anything that I could have done better? Anything. I just, there was just something I was thinking right there. Is there anything that these kind of guys can look back and say, well, this relationship didn't work with this black woman that I was with. Before I get off into this other relationship, let me try to figure out what I can do to make this better. Let me look at what she did, what I did, what caused us to break up, and let me try to change this. Because I'm gonna be honest, all I'm seeing is a lot of, a lot of our men are going out, and a lot of the men in our race are going out and dating out. I would never say our men, because don't no man belong to me. Don't no woman belong to nobody unless y'all married or whatever. But I look at it like this: if you guys are going out and you're dating out, don't go out and ruin the other race. And it's the same for black women too. If you feel like one race failed you and didn't do you right, and you go out and date another race, oh, and I'm signing out. Katie Talk 101.